Have you ever felt like you're walking through a dense fog, each step forward met with resistance, the path ahead obscured and uncertain? That relentless feeling of being stuck, of wading through mud when you desperately need to run? It's in these moments, when the weight of the world seems to press down with unbearable force, that we truly question our strength, our purpose, our very ability to keep going. The world throws curveballs. Life isn't always a smooth, upward trajectory. Sometimes, it's a series of stumbles, falls, and unexpected detours. And it's in those moments, those dark nights of the soul, that the true test begins. It's easy to stay motivated when the sun is shining, when opportunities are abundant, and when success seems within easy reach. But what happens when the storm clouds gather, when the winds howl, and when the path ahead seems impossible to navigate? Perhaps you're facing a daunting challenge at work, a project that seems insurmountable, a deadline that looms like a guillotine. Or maybe you're struggling with a personal relationship, a conflict that feels irreparable, a sense of disconnection that chills you to the bone. It could be a health scare, a financial crisis, a wave of grief that threatens to drown you in its depths. Whatever the specific challenge, the underlying feeling is the same. A sense of being overwhelmed, of being lost, of being utterly and completely defeated. And it's okay to feel that way. It's human to feel that way. We are not robots, programmed to function flawlessly in the face of adversity. We are complex, emotional beings, capable of great joy and profound sorrow. And when sorrow comes knocking, it's important to acknowledge it, to feel it, to allow it to wash over you. But it's equally important not to let it consume you, not to let it define you, not to let it steal your hope. Because even in the darkest of times, there is always a flicker of light, a spark of resilience, a seed of possibility waiting to be nurtured. It may be buried deep within you, obscured by layers of doubt and fear, but it's there nonetheless. And it's that inner spark that we need to fan into flame, that inner strength that we need to cultivate, that inner voice that we need to listen to, even when it whispers so softly that it's almost imperceptible. This isn't about toxic positivity, about pretending that everything is okay when it's clearly not. It's not about ignoring the pain, suppressing the emotions, or denying the reality of the situation. It's about finding a way to navigate the challenges, to cope with the stress, to persevere through the setbacks, without losing sight of your values, your purpose, and your dreams. It's about acknowledging the darkness, but choosing to focus on the light. It's about recognizing your limitations, but refusing to be defined by them. The journey ahead may not be easy. There will be obstacles, there will be setbacks, there will be moments when you want to give up. But know this, you are stronger than you think. You are more resilient than you believe. And you are not alone. We all face difficult times. We all struggle. We all stumble. But it's how we respond to those challenges that ultimately defines us. So, take a deep breath. Acknowledge the pain. Embrace the uncertainty. But don't let it paralyze you. Don't let it define you. Don't let it steal your hope. Instead, let it fuel you. Let it motivate you. Let it empower you to rise above the challenges, to overcome the obstacles, and to emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. The path to motivation in difficult times begins not with denial, but with honest acknowledgement and a courageous choice to seek the light within. Now, let's dissect the anatomy of the inner critic, that insidious voice that amplifies your anxieties when you're already down. It often disguises itself as pragmatism, cloaking its negativity in a veneer of realism. You're not good enough, it whispers. You'll never succeed, it insists, preying on past failures and magnifying present insecurities. It's a master of distortion, twisting minor setbacks into monumental catastrophes, and amplifying fleeting doubts into unwavering convictions. This internal saboteur thrives on comparison, constantly measuring you against unrealistic ideals or the carefully curated images of others. It conveniently ignores your strengths, your accomplishments, and your unique value, focusing solely on perceived flaws and shortcomings. Consider, for instance, the artist who, after creating a piece they initially felt proud of, becomes consumed by self-doubt upon seeing the work of a more established peer. The inner critic pounces, highlighting every perceived imperfection in their own creation, and whispering that they should abandon their artistic pursuits altogether. Or picture the entrepreneur who, after experiencing a minor dip in sales, is bombarded with thoughts of impending bankruptcy and utter failure, despite years of hard work and demonstrable success. The inner critic disregards the resilience they've shown, the innovations they've implemented, and the positive feedback they've received, fixating solely on the temporary downturn. This relentless barrage of negativity erodes your self-esteem, saps your motivation, and stifles your creativity. It creates a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your fear of failure leads you to avoid challenges, and your lack of confidence undermines your performance. You become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, constantly second-guessing yourself and limiting your potential. But understanding the mechanics of this internal battle is the first step towards dismantling it. Recognize that the inner critic is not an objective observer, but a biased commentator, fueled by fear and insecurity. Its pronouncements are not facts, but opinions, and you have the power to challenge them. Furthermore, examine the roots of this critical voice. Often, it's an echo of past experiences, of criticisms received from parents, teachers, or peers. Perhaps you were raised in an environment where perfection was demanded and mistakes were punished. Or maybe you experienced a traumatic event that left you feeling inadequate or unworthy. These past wounds can fester and manifest as an unrelenting inner critic, constantly reminding you of your perceived failings. Identifying the source of this negativity can help you to understand its irrationality and to begin to heal the underlying wounds. Conversely, it's vital to acknowledge that sometimes, the inner critic stems from a genuine desire for self-improvement. The key lies in distinguishing between constructive criticism, which is aimed at helping you grow, and destructive criticism, which is designed to tear you down. Constructive criticism is specific, actionable, and focused on behaviors rather than character. Destructive criticism, on the other hand, is vague, personal, and aimed at undermining your self-worth. Consequently, learning to identify and challenge these negative thought patterns is crucial for maintaining motivation during challenging times. It requires conscious effort and consistent practice, but it's a skill that can be learned and refined. Start by simply noticing when the inner critic is speaking. Pay attention to the tone, the language, and the content of its messages. Then, ask yourself if there's any evidence to support its claims. Are you really as incompetent, unworthy, or doomed as it suggests? Or is it exaggerating and distorting the truth? Reflecting on this journey so far, a subtle but profound shift begins to take hold. It's akin to watching a landscape emerge from the morning mist. The once obscured contours of your inner terrain gradually become discernible. The initial struggle against the relentless tide of difficulty starts to transmute into a more nuanced understanding of its ebb and flow. You begin to perceive that these challenging moments, far from being insurmountable barriers, are, in actuality, integral threads woven into the tapestry of your growth. It's as though we've been navigating a labyrinth, each turn presenting a new set of obstacles and uncertainties. But with each challenge confronted, with each limiting belief questioned, a deeper sense of self-awareness begins to dawn. The labyrinth, once perceived as a prison, now reveals itself as a crucible, a transformative space where resilience is forged and inner strength is discovered. This isn't merely about adopting a Pollyannish optimism or a superficial glossing over of the genuine hardships encountered. Rather, it's about cultivating a more profound perspective, one that acknowledges the inherent challenges of existence while simultaneously recognizing the immense capacity for adaptation and growth that resides within each of us. It's akin to learning to sail, not by wishing away the storms, but by mastering the art of navigating them. As we pivot towards the final reflection, consider the cumulative effect of these insights. It's like the slow but steady accumulation of sediment that eventually forms a mountain. Each small act of self-compassion, each conscious choice to challenge negative thought patterns, each moment of vulnerability embraced, contributes to a gradual but ultimately transformative shift in your inner landscape. Drawing these strands together, we see that motivation in difficult times is not about eradicating adversity, but about cultivating the inner resources to navigate it with grace, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to your own well-being. It's about recognizing that the path forward is not always linear, that setbacks are inevitable, and that true strength lies not in avoiding failure, but in learning from it and rising again. In light of these insights, the path forward becomes clearer, not as a perfectly paved highway, but as a winding trail through uncharted territory. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to embrace the unknown. But it also promises the reward of self-discovery, growth, and a deeper understanding of your own potential. The final revelation beckons, promising a perspective that transcends the immediate challenges and illuminates the enduring power within. So, where does this leave us? standing at the threshold of a renewed understanding of motivation in the face of adversity. It leaves us not with a magic formula or a guaranteed path to effortless triumph, but with something far more profound, a compass calibrated to the truest north within ourselves. That north is not a destination, but a direction, a constant orientation toward growth, resilience, and unwavering self-compassion. The journey through difficult times is not a linear ascent, but a spiral dance. We may revisit familiar challenges, encounter echoes of past struggles, but each revolution brings us to a higher plane, a more expansive perspective. We begin to recognize that the very obstacles we once perceived as insurmountable are, in fact, the stepping stones that elevate us toward a more authentic and empowered version of ourselves. Consider the image of a tree weathering a storm. It doesn't resist the wind with rigid defiance, but bends and sways, allowing the force of the gale to pass through it. Its roots, deeply anchored in the earth, provide stability and resilience, while its branches, though battered, reach ever upward toward the light. We, too, can learn to embody this resilience, to bend without breaking, to find strength in our flexibility, and to remain rooted in our values even amidst the most turbulent storms. The true power of motivation in difficult times lies not in the absence of fear or doubt, but in our ability to acknowledge these emotions without allowing them to dictate our actions. It's about cultivating a mindful awareness of our inner landscape, recognizing the subtle shifts in our thoughts and feelings, and choosing to respond with compassion and understanding, rather than judgment and self-criticism. It's about reframing our perception of failure, seeing it not as a catastrophic defeat, but as an invaluable opportunity for learning and growth. Each stumble, each setback, each moment of self-doubt is a chance to refine our approach, to strengthen our resolve, and to deepen our understanding of ourselves. In essence, motivation in difficult times is not about chasing an external reward or seeking validation from others, but about cultivating an unwavering commitment to our own well-being and growth. It's about recognizing that we are inherently worthy of love, respect, and happiness, regardless of our circumstances or achievements. It's about embracing our imperfections, celebrating our strengths, and trusting in our ability to navigate whatever challenges life may throw our way. The true practice begins now, in the quiet moments of reflection, in the conscious choices we make each day, in the unwavering commitment to nurturing our inner strength. It begins with a single breath, a single step, a single act of self-compassion. And as we continue on this journey, we discover that the greatest source of motivation lies not in the absence of difficulty, but in the unwavering belief in our own capacity to overcome it.